I'm Xanny, I'm awesome, so are you. Welcome back to Xanny TV. Tonight, we're talking VPNs. But first, I want to get into a little bit about why you might need a VPN, especially in this day and age, and why it's important that you be able to select a server for your VPN. The reason for that is you may want to appear like you're not coming from, say, in my example, Atlanta, Georgia. But Xanny, you ask, how does somebody know you're coming from Atlanta, Georgia? Well, I'm glad you asked. You see, when you're using your internet service provider provides you with, like, in my case, we have a cable modem, and that cable modem connects to the ISP, which is Comcast. That cable modem gets what's called an external IP address. Think of that IP address as like an address to your house. With that particular IP address, you can get back to the router. Well, with that IP address, you can also figure out where somebody is. Not down to like what street they live on and what house number. It's not that detailed, thankfully. But it can give you the region they're in, it gives you the state and the city. So for example, right now it thinks I'm in New York because I had the VPN on, but I turned it off. We'll get to that in a minute. So like right now, you can see, like I said, I'm using Comcast. I'm in Marietta, Georgia. As some of you may know, there are some states, including Georgia, that have passed some laws that are restricting access to certain sites unless you upload your ID to these sites. Now, I don't know about you. I don't like randomly uploading my ID to sites where I'm not sure exactly how it's going to be used. So that's where a VPN comes in. So let's get right into it. And let's look at a flow when you want to go to, say, google.com, both without and then with a VPN. So without, there's you. Here's the cable modem with that IP address that knows that you're in my case, Marietta, through the internet to google.com. This is what happens when I type google.com into my browser. It goes through here and I get google.com. It comes back, right? Now, with my VPN software, now the VPN software lives on, this should actually be reversed, but it'll work because it has to go through the router to get to the VPN. So basically the software lives on your computer. You turn it on, it goes through the router. The VPN then connects to the VPN server. And then from the VPN server, all that traffic gets forwarded to google.com. So, for example, the VPN software I use is called Mulvad. They're based out of Sweden. It's software I've been using it's a VPN software I've been using for like 4 or 5 years now. But let's say for kicks, I wanted to look like I'm coming from Phoenix, Arizona. Connected, you can see we're connected to Phoenix, Arizona. And now, come back over here, we do a refresh. It thinks I'm in Phoenix, Arizona now. So, if we come back over here to our handy dandy diagram, goes from me through the router, through the VPN, to the VPN server in Arizona. And then from that server, it goes out to Google, and then it comes all the way back through. And I still get google.com. It's like I can come over here and say, google.com, right? It still brings me back to Google. It just looks like I'm in Arizona right now. Another benefit of using the VPN software is that your traffic is encrypted. So basically, all your ISP would see, your ISP being Comcast, the service provider. I use ISP and service provider interchangeably here. They would just see a connection to the VPN server. That's it. They wouldn't see what's going through that connection. They wouldn't see what you're doing. They would only see that you're connected to this VPN server. And in my case, the service provider I'm using, Malvad, does not keep any VPN logs. So even they don't know what I'm doing. Not that I'm doing anything nefarious or anything like that. That just happens to be how they operate. But because I can select where I'm coming from, I can select which server I'm on, I can get around the, restrictions that state legislatures have put in place. And the thing of it is, the beauty of it is, it's not illegal. Everything I'm doing here is 100% legal. I'm paying, I think, €5 a month since they're in the EU. I think it's like $5.50 US, I think is what it is, something like that. And yeah, I get peace of mind. And what's really cool is the VPN software, it's available for PC, Windows. It's available for Macintosh. It's available for Linux. Usually I run Linux. I'm 99% Linux. I just happen to be recording in Windows today because I have my recording software set up there. There's also clients for your phones. So those are, and tablets. So those of you that are using like phones and tablets more than a PC, you also can get a VPN. Now I know like Apple has Private Relay, which I believe is a VPN type software. I don't know that you can select the location of the server it connects to. I think it's just basically it picks one out of a pool and you got to hope for the best. There are some browsers like Opera and Brave, which I'm using, that have VPNs built into them. I don't have any experience with those, so I can't really speak on whether you can select what region the server's in you want to connect to. But I can only speak on Malvad, so let me pop that back up here. So yeah, for Malvad, there are so many different options I have. So I could select the server in the US, Ukraine, United Kingdom, Turkey, Thailand, Spain, Slovenia, Portugal. I could Japan if I wanted to. Ireland. There are plenty of options. Like I can even look like I'm coming from Canada. Eh? I mean, plenty of options. Generally, the further away the VPN server you select is from you, it's going to slow your traffic down a little bit. And to be fair, I don't keep the VPN on all the time when I'm browsing. There are just certain times I want to turn it on. I'm sure you can figure out what those certain times are. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. However, there is one time I'll always turn it on. When you're out, say you're out at like, I don't know, Starbucks or like, a public library, or you're somewhere with a public free Wi-Fi access point, right? You connect to it. A VPN is great for making sure you stay secure. Because again, it's all encrypted. And you never know who's running that free Wi-Fi access point. But again, that's a security thing. I'm not here to really get into that. I'm just trying to give a basic overview. And I think I did that pretty okay. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have as far as, VPN. Now, as far as VPN software goes, there are a lot to choose from. So let's just do a quick Google here. There's a ton of them. NordVPN's advertised a lot on YouTube. ExpressVPN, ProtonVPN. Now, none of the only one I have experience with is Malvad. That's who I use. That's who I trust. That's who I've been using for the past 5 years. I haven't had a complaint about them. The thing with Malvad is they offer, you can have up to 5 devices connected at once, which is good. Now, obviously, if you're a 1-device household, that's not a big deal. There are some free VPNs, but you gotta be careful of that. Again, I don't have any experience outside of Molvad, so I can't really recommend one way or the other. The best thing I could tell you is if you know somebody that's using a different VPN, ask them about their experiences. And if you're concerned about being able to get around, geo restrictions, ask them if you can select a server in a different region, or at least at the very least a different state. If you can do that, that may be a good one for you. But that's about all I have. If you have questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. There's multiple ways to find me. If you're the social media type, I'm on Blue Sky as Just Xanny. I'm on Instagram as Just Xanny. Or, you can also find me on the other social media I linked this video to. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I hope it was informative. I hope I didn't talk too far over your heads. And again, if you have any questions, do let me know. I'm Xanny. I'm awesome. So are you. Thanks for watching. We'll see you later.